Last night, President Rodrigo Duterte spoke to his cabinet officials amid the ongoing vaccine rollout. Our Trisha Tirada now joins us to give us an update. Trisha, good morning. What did officials say to the president?
Yes, Ria, good morning. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez tells President Rodrigo Duterte about an increasing demand for Sinovac vaccine since its arrival in the country. Galvez says it helps that some prominent doctors and leaders took the lead in getting the shot. Although he notes that there is still low vaccine confidence in the Chinese-made vaccine, he says he received calls from local government units expressing interest to secure supplies for their health workers after key personalities got vaccinated. Galvez adds private hospital St. Luke's Medical Center is also asking for 5,000 doses for their medical frontliners. The president says the government welcomes all the cooperation being offered to them. He says he is convinced that St. Luke's intends to get Sinovac supplies will help move the vaccines faster. Galvez assures there will be equitable distribution of vaccines across the nation. The doses will be delivered to the Visayas and Mindanao and other regions beginning today. Metro Manila will receive 130,000 doses from the first batch of vaccines, while Region 4A will get 1,115 doses based on their request, but the numbers can still vary. There are also 26,000 vaccines for the Visayas, while 24,000 vaccine doses are set aside for Mindanao. Galvez says there will be 70,000 doses left, good for 35,000 people as their buffer stock. The president thanked China yet again for its donations, particularly President Xi Jinping for heeding his appeal. The president says he personally asked the Chinese president for help at the start of the pandemic. The chief executive said there's something more Filipinos can look forward to from China.
Mayroong binulong sa akin si Ambassador Wang Silian. Ayaw ko lang sabihin. He said something to me na very encouraging. And I said thank you. Alam na ninyo kung ano yan, but I would not want to preempt.
Duque reveals the total cost of donated Sinovac vaccines for 6,000 doses is 403 million pesos or $15 or more than 700 pesos per dose. Back to you, Ria.
Trisha, we noticed that President Duterte spent a good portion of his talk to the nation hitting Vice President Leni Robredo. Could you give us details about what he said?
Right. President Duterte says he is pissed at the Vice President for her comments and opinions about the vaccine. One, the President addresses calls for him to take the lead in getting the shot. He says he can't be vaccinated with Sinovac considering his age. He also notes that it can only be given to individuals 18 to 59 years old. But it's also good to note that the president volunteered to take the shot as soon as they arrived in his past speeches. Also worth noting is that Sinovac was used on senior citizens in other countries. The president accuses Robredo of speculating that the president has already been vaccinated. The vice president's comments on the efficacy rate also did not sit well with the chief executive, so he hit Robredo with harsh remarks a couple of times in his address.
Yan ang mahirap sa'yo. You want to be relevant. And you know, sometimes you make an idiotic stance. Yung mga ganong, they deserve the best. Anak ka ng... Bakit ako, I would give them the worst? Mamatay ka na. Hindi ko iwanan yung mga frontliners. And you do not need to really be redundant about it. You seem to have an angel face but a devilish mind. Kaya ang pagduda mo kasi tapos na ako, kaya you want me to go into a trap of saying things which are not appropriate.
Malacanang also refutes Robredo's call for vaccines to go through the Health Technology Assessment Council. Both the president and his spokesperson, Harry Roque, says This is unnecessary and it's only recommendatory under the universal healthcare law. Meantime, the president says he respects the decision of healthcare workers regarding their vaccination. Mr. Duterte says it is their right to pick which brand they want, but since Western brands are inaccessible due to supply problems, they may have to wait a little more. Back to you.
Tricia, during the arrival of the vaccines, the president said that he's considering opening the economy when there are already at least 2 million doses available. How does his team intend to go about this?
Well, Galvez is hoping that supplies from COVAX will arrive this week. He also said government will buy 1 million doses from Sinovac, and they're working on, basically, they're just really working on securing 2 to 5 million doses on standby as stockpile so they can inform the president and recommend the further opening of the economy. Back to you, Mike.
All right. Thank you, Tricia Terada there reporting.